Hello dear students, how are you all? So welcome back. Yesterday we had been studying tenses and today we'll resume the class, and today as well we are going to study tenses. So those who have studied my class yesterday must know that yesterday we were studying present perfect and past indefinite. Okay, and I told you many things about these two tenses, that when to use present perfect and when to use past indefinite, and what is the relation between these two tenses. Today we will see the use of past perfect. Okay, so today we will see the use of past perfect. First we will see the structure of past perfect and then we will see the use of it. Okay. So the very first thing, if we talk about past perfect tense, the first thing is its structure. So the structure of past perfect is subject, head, third form of verb and object. I think I do not need to tell you the interrogative structure and the negative structure, because this is a very easy thing that you can do it yourself. Okay, and if you want to know the negative, just add not after helping verb, that is had, and if you want to make it interrogative, just bring had before subject. Let me write: subject, had not, third form of verb and object, and had plus subject, third form of verb and object. So subject, had, third form of verb and object. Subject, had not, verb, third form object, had, subject, third form object. So these are the structures of past perfect tense. Okay, now the use, and this use is very important for examination. This use is very important for examination. Okay, let me explain you. When we talk about two events of past, when we talk about two events of past, the former one is in past perfect, whereas the latter one is in past indefinite tense. Okay, read this one more time. When we talk about two events of past, the former one is in past perfect, whereas the latter one is in past indefinite tense. Like, we are talking something about past and there are two events of past. So the event that took place first is past perfect and the event that took place later on is past indefinite. Let me explain you with the help of an example. When I reached home, my father was already sleeping. Now we have this sentence. When I reached home, my father was already sleeping. Okay. So in this sentence, there are two events of past. First event, I reached home, and second event, my father slept. Okay, so there are two events of past. One, I reached home, and second, my father slept. There are two events of past, right? Which one happened first? Out of these two events, which one happened first? I slept first, I reached home first, or my father slept first? So when I reached home, my father was already sleeping. So here we have a word already. Already means that something has happened. Already means something has happened earlier than the another action. So this means that my father slept first. My father slept first, then I reached home. Okay, so there are two actions of past, and this happened first. How come we know this happened first? Because here we have a word already which suggests that my father slept first, then only I reached home. So out of two actions, the former one is always in past perfect tense and the later one is in past indefinite tense. So the later one is in past indefinite tense, but the former one is not in past perfect, it is in past continuous, so this is wrong. So the correct sentence would be change was into had and sleeping into slept. Means this sentence was in past continuous, but we need to change it into past perfect tense, because whenever we talk about two actions of past, the former one is always in past perfect tense. Okay, now let's see some more examples. He knocked the door after I called him. One more example. I reached home before my father got angry. Third sentence. Ravi opened the door. Ravi opened the door after I saw him. Okay. One more sentence. I did not realize that my bag was stolen. And one last sentence. She finished her work before the alarm rang. Now, solve these 5 questions, then I'll tell you the answers. Solve these questions, then I'll tell you the answers. while solving these questions, you have to keep in mind that if there are two actions of past in a sentence, the former one must be in past perfect and the latter one must be in past indefinite tense. The action that we did first is past perfect, and the action that preceded it Okay, let's solve these questions. He knocked the door after I called him. So here we have a word after. Now, what does this sentence mean? He knocked the door. Someone is there who is knocking at the door. So he knocked the door. Okay. At here, huh? He knocked at the door. He knocked at the door, huh? So he knocked at the door after I called him. So after means that this action happened first. He knocked at the door after I called him. So this means that someone is knocking at the door. Someone is knocking at the door after I called him. After I called him. This means that this action happened first, and the action that happened first must be in past perfect tense. So in place of called, we have to write had called. Okay. Now, I reached home before my father got angry. So here we have before. Okay, now what does this mean? I reached home. And when did I reach home? When did I reach home? Before my father got angry. So my father got angry, but before he gets angry, I reached home. So this action is the former action. So in place of reached, we have to write I had reached. Now third sentence, Ravi opened the door after I saw him. So Ravi opened the door. And when did Ravi open the door? When did Ravi? Ask yourself. We have a sentence, Ravi opened the door. Now ask yourself, when did Ravi open the door? After I saw him. That means first I saw Ravi. Ravi opened the door after I saw him. This means that first I saw Ravi, then he opened the door. First I saw Ravi. And the action that happened first is past perfect. So first I saw Ravi, then he opened the door. So this sentence must be I had seen. In place of I saw him, it must be I had seen him. Okay. Now fourth sentence. I did not realize that my bag was stolen. Now, I have explained three sentences. Now it's your turn to solve the fourth one. Solve it. I am giving you 1 minute and then I'll tell you the answers. Okay. So the sentence is I did not realize that my bag was stolen. So here also there are two actions. First, I am realizing, and second, my bag has been stolen. So I did not realize that my bag was stolen. So when do we realize or not realize something? Once something happened, then only we realize or do not realize it. So I did not realize, this part is absolutely correct, but my bag was stolen. This sentence has to be changed into past perfect tense, because what is the sentence? I did not realize that my bag was stolen. So first the bag was stolen, then only I said I did not realize. So this action has happened first. So this must be changed into had been. In place of was, we have to write had been. I did not realize that my bag had been stolen. Madhana Rajendran, absolutely correct. Madhana Rajendran, your sentence is absolutely correct. Now fifth sentence. She finished her work before the alarm rang. So she finished her work. Now ask yourself, when did she finish her work? The sentence is she finished her work. So the question is, when did she finish her work? So answer is, she finished her work before the alarm rang. Means first the alarm rang, first she finished her work, then the alarm rang. Okay, first she finished her work, then the alarm rang, because she finished her work before, previously the alarm rang. That means first she finished her work, then only the alarm rang. So this sentence must be in past perfect. So it should be she had. Okay, we have to change this sentence into past perfect. She had finished her work before the alarm rang. So this is the past perfect tense. Okay, let me tell you one more time. Whenever we talk about two events of past, the action that happens first is always past perfect, and the action that comes after it is in past indefinite tense. Okay, now after past perfect, let's see future tenses. Future tenses. Okay, future. So future indefinite. Future indefinite. So what is the structure of future indefinite? This is the structure of future indefinite tense. Whenever I teach future indefinite, students often ask me, sir, what is the difference between will and shall? What is the difference between will and shall? So first we will see the difference. What is the difference between will and shall? What is the difference between will and shall? So people often tell me difference between will and shall. So whenever I ask my students, tell me the difference between will and shall, they say with the first person pronoun, that or I and we use shall, and with other subjects like third person subject, he, she, it, we use will. But this is not right. With I and we can use both shall as well as will. Okay. With these two pronouns, I and we, these are first person pronouns. Okay. With these first person pronouns, we can use both shall as well as will, but the meanings are different. With I or we, shall means planning. With I and we, shall means planning. And with I and we, will means determination. Okay, so this is the difference. We can use both. We can use both will and shall with I and we. But the difference is, if you are using shall with I or we, it means planning. Planning, which is not sure. So remember one thing, planning is not always sure. We make hundreds of plans every day, that today I'll take lunch in this hotel, tomorrow I'll be visiting Agra, next week I'll be going to London. So every day we make thousands of plans, but does any of the plan we execute? Not sure, because planning and executing them are two different things. We make hundreds of plans every day, but we execute only a few of them. So planning which is not determined, planning which is not sure or certain, is expressed by shall with I and we. And once we are determined to do something, once our planning has been fixed, it has become sure that we are going to do this, we use will. Okay, so if I write I shall teach you and I will teach you, both the sentences are correct. Neither of these two sentences is wrong. Both are absolutely correct. The only difference is meaning. The only difference is meaning. Here, this is my plan, not sure. Means, in the first sentence, I do want to teach you, and I have made a plan that I shall teach you, but it is not sure. It may be changed. Okay, but when I write I will, this shows my determination. This shows my determination. Whatever may come, I am going to teach you. Whatever happens, I will teach you. Okay, this is sure. Here I am not going to change my plan. I will 100% teach you. Okay, so this is my determination. And no need to write 100% sure, because determination is something that is already sure. So both the sentences are correct, but both have different meaning. So one question arises, that can we use will with I and we in every condition? No. The question is, can we use will with I and we in every condition? The answer is No. The answer is no. Can we use will with I and we in every condition? And the answer is no. So when can't we use will with I and we? In interrogative sentences. In interrogative sentences, we cannot use will with I and we. So remember this. This is very important. This is something very important. In interrogative sentences, we cannot use will with I or we. For example, if there is a sentence, I will teach you. This sentence is absolutely correct. This sentence is absolutely correct. One more sentence is there. I shall teach you. This sentence is also absolutely correct. Both the sentences are absolutely correct. The difference is meaning. Here it shows my determination that I'll 100% teach you. No change of plan. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm 100% going to teach you. But this is my planning. It may change. Okay? Now, change this sentence into interrogative. So whenever we have to make any sentence interrogative, what do? We bring the helping verb before subject. So if I make this sentence interrogative, what I'll have to do? I'll do this. Shall I teach you? This sentence is absolutely correct. Now, if we have to make this sentence interrogative, what we usually do, will I teach you? But this sentence is wrong. Okay? I shall teach you. The interrogative of this will be shall I teach you. But the interrogative of I will cannot be will I. This is wrong because in interrogative sentences we cannot use will with I and we. And what is the reason behind it? First, let me tell you the correct answer. So the sentence is I will teach you. If you have to make interrogative of this, you have to use shall I teach you. Okay? So in assertive sentence, you can use will with I and we, but in interrogative sentence you cannot do that. Now what is the reason? The reason. Will I teach you? This sentence is wrong. But the question is why? Now see the reason. I and we with will shows determination. Okay? I and we with will shows determination. And determination is something that you do not ask anyone else. If I have a determination, I know it. How can you ask you? Okay? So, you are determined to do something. For example, you are determined to do something. So, who knows this? Your determination. Who knows your determination? You only. You cannot ask others. Tell me. If I ask you, hey, tell me, am I determined to visit Taj Mahal today? What you will say? Sir, it is your determination. You must know. How can we know your determination? Okay. So, Determination is something that a person himself knows about it. He does not ask. So here if I write, will I teach you, this means I am asking about my determination. I am asking you about my determination. So this is wrong. So that's why we cannot use will with I and we. Okay. So this much for today. We'll continue this class tomorrow. I have some health issues. That's why I am unable to teach longer. Once I'll get recovered, I'll be taking class properly for 1 hour. So revise all these things that I have taught today, and tomorrow we'll continue. And it has become almost impossible for me to stand even for a single minute. That's why I am winding up this class, and tomorrow we'll continue it. So see you tomorrow.